The image of 17-year-old Tyler being marched off in handcuffs while his mother shrieked at the officers is something burned into my memory. Karen Wilson stood on the curb in her perfectly tailored blazer, her HOA president badge catching the sun like a medal of power. Her face flushed a furious shade of crimson as she jabbed her finger at Officer Martinez. "You can't do this! I run this neighborhood. I know you're captain," she screamed, her voice shrill enough to make the onlookers flinch. Meanwhile, Tyler had the nerve to flash a cocky smirk over his shoulder at the small crowd gathering along the sidewalks. Even with his hands cuffed behind him, that arrogant expression didn't budge. "This is all a mistake," he called out, dripping with the same entitled tone he'd used for weeks. "My mom will have me out in an hour." For months, most of the neighbors had tiptoed around the Wilsons, afraid to speak out against the self-proclaimed queen of Maple Grove Estates. But now, they peeked out from behind curtains and half-open doors, watching the downfall of the family that had treated the entire neighborhood like their personal kingdom. Justice had finally caught up to them. But to explain how we got here, I need to rewind a few weeks. I'd just moved into this pristine little suburban community with its perfectly trimmed lawns, picket fences, and HOA rules posted at every corner like commandments. It looked like a picture-perfect slice of the American dream. For a moment, I thought I'd struck gold with my new home on Elm Street until my packages started vanishing. At first, I brushed it off. A missing box here, a delayed delivery there. The tracking number said delivered, but my porch was always empty when I came home. I figured it was just a mix-up, maybe some porch pirate from outside the community. After all, Maple Grove Estates had a reputation as one of the safest neighborhoods in the city, thanks to Karen Wilson's iron-fisted HOA. By the third disappearance, I decided to ask around. Mrs. Chen, my soft-spoken neighbor who lived across the street, was out pruning her rose bushes when I approached. The moment I mentioned my missing packages, her hands froze. "Oh dear," she whispered, eyes flicking nervously toward the big white house at the end of the street. "You might want to check with the Wilson boy. I've seen him walking around a lot lately." She didn't say anything more, but the way her gaze lingered in that direction said it all. That night, I ordered a smart doorbell camera. 2 days later, I got my answer in crystal clear HD. The footage showed Tyler Wilson swaggering up my walkway like he owned the place, grabbing the package off my porch in broad daylight, and strolling off without even glancing around. He even dared to whistle while he did it, like he was picking up his own mail. I replayed the footage 3 times, each viewing making my blood boil hotter. This wasn't desperation. This was entitlement. The HOA president's son was treating the neighborhood like a free delivery service. I marched straight to the Wilson house, phone in hand, ready to have a civil conversation and get my stolen property back. Karen opened the door with her trademark power suit and that smile she wore like armor, fake polite, icy underneath. "Well, hello there, new neighbor," she cooed. "What can I do for you today?" I told her about the stolen packages and held up the video. In an instant, the fake friendliness vanished. Her face hardened like stone. "That's quite an accusation," she said, her voice dropping to a low, dangerous hiss. "And frankly, I find it insulting that you'd come here making wild claims about my son." I tried to keep my cool, calmly pointing out that I had clear evidence and only wanted the theft to stop. But Karen crossed her arms and gave me a look that was meant to make people shrink. "Tyler is an honor student and captain of his debate team," she said slowly, like she was educating a child. He would never do something so petty. "Perhaps you should look more carefully at your delivery confirmations before making baseless accusations." Then came the threat wrapped in HOA language. "I'd suggest you choose your battles very carefully in this neighborhood. As president of the Homeowners Association, I take false accusations against residents very seriously, especially when they target outstanding young people like my son." The theft didn't stop. It got worse. Over the next week, Tyler became bolder. He stole packages in broad daylight and even waved at my camera once, like it was all some kind of game. The breaking point came when I caught him red-handed with my neighbor's delivery tucked under his arm. I yelled across the street, and he turned with that same smirk. "Hey, mister," he said, arrogance dripping from every word. "My mom runs this whole neighborhood. I'm basically untouchable. Maybe you should move somewhere else if you don't like how things work around here." Then he actually laughed as he walked away with stolen property, absolutely certain nothing could touch him. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about a few missing packages anymore. This was about power. This was never just about stolen boxes. This was about a family who truly believed they were untouchable because of nothing more than a petty neighborhood title. Once I started talking to other residents, the truth came spilling out fast. What I learned was both infuriating and, honestly, heartbreaking. The Hendersons had lost 4 packages in just a month. The Johnsons never received a birthday gift meant for their daughter. Even elderly Mr. Peterson had his medication stolen right off his porch. "Everyone knows it's Tyler," Mrs. Chen told me in a low voice, glancing toward the Wilson house as if it could hear her. "But no one wants to be her next target. She can make life very difficult if you cross her. Last year, she tried to fine the Smiths $500 because their grass was half an inch too tall." Half an inch? That was all I needed to hear. I rallied 6 neighbors who were just as tired of Karen's intimidation as I was. Together, we decided to fight back with something stronger than fear: evidence. We created a group chat, set up multiple cameras, and started tracking Tyler's every move around the neighborhood. Within 3 days, we had footage from multiple homes showing Tyler strolling up to porches like it was his personal mall. Box after box, house after house. The pattern was undeniable. Armed with that evidence, I formally requested a meeting with the HOA board. Karen responded exactly as expected, by stacking the deck. She scheduled it for a Tuesday morning when most people would be at work, and made sure her loyal supporters filled the board. Seats. This is clearly a personal vendetta by residents who don't appreciate the high standards I've worked to maintain in this community, she declared with that fake presidential air of hers. Every time we presented proof, she waved it away, calling the videos doctored, our statements coordinated harassment. When I tried to play the footage, she flat out ruled it inadmissible and even threatened fines for defamation. The whole meeting was a performance. A sham, but it taught me something crucial. You can't beat a petty tyrant on their rigged turf. You have to take the fight somewhere they don't control. That night, I compiled every video, screenshot, and statement into a single, organized report and drove straight to the police station. Detective Sarah Martinez sat across from me as I laid everything out. She watched the footage, read through the timestamps, and nodded. "This is actually pretty impressive work," she said, cracking a small smile. "Multiple angles, clear IDs, corroborated statements. We can absolutely work with this." The investigation moved faster than I'd dared hope. Within 2 days, she had interviewed several neighbors and confirmed the theft pattern. She also uncovered something bigger. Tyler wasn't just stealing for himself. He'd been selling stolen goods online. That bumped everything from petty theft to organized retail crime. When Detective Martinez called to tell me they were making an arrest, I couldn't help it. My chest swelled with satisfaction. "We'll be picking him up after school tomorrow," she said. "With the evidence we have, we're confident about prosecution." The next day, I was in my front yard when the police cars pulled up to the Wilson house. The sight of Tyler being read his rights while Karen screamed at the top of her lungs was better than any movie. "Premier, this is harassment!" she shrieked as officers escorted her son to the patrol car. "I'll have your badges. Do you know who I am?" But Detective Martinez remained calm and professional, explaining that Tyler was being charged with multiple counts of theft, trafficking in stolen property, and organized retail crime. And the look on Karen's face when she realized her precious HOA title meant absolutely nothing to actual law enforcement? Priceless. That night, the neighborhood came alive with something we hadn't felt in a long time: relief. People stepped out of their homes, laughing and talking freely. Mrs. Peterson started a petition to remove Karen from the HOA board. Within 24 hours, more than 80% of the residents had signed. Neighbors who'd been silent for years now lined up to tell their stories about Karen's illegal fines, her harassment campaigns, and her threats against anyone who dared defy her little kingdom. Tyler's court date came quickly. The evidence was so overwhelming that his lawyer advised him to plead guilty. He was sentenced to 6 months in juvenile detention, 2 years of probation, and restitution totaling over $3,000 to his victims. I'll never forget Karen's face in that courtroom. The way the color drained from her cheeks as the judge delivered the sentence. Tyler wasn't untouchable anymore. The judge also added a poetic touch to his punishment. Mandatory community service in property crime prevention. Tyler would spend months explaining to other teenagers why stealing wasn't worth the price he paid. Karen made one last, desperate plea about her son's bright future, but the judge shut her down with a firm reminder that actions have consequences, no matter who your mother is or what title she holds in a homeowners association. And just like that, the iron grip the Wilson family held over Maple Grove Estates was broken.